Assalamualaikum. Welcome to MCOP's Member Spotlight. Today we have with us Ayesha Tanzeem, founder of Tiny Mighty News. Welcome, Ayesha.
Thank you so much. Walaikum assalam, and thank you so much for having me, Kashif.
Yeah, thank you for being here with us on this journey. So, tell us about your journey, how you started and where you are today.
Okay. Way back when I was a student, I was a summa cum laude student. And like all Desi parents, I was born in Pakistan. My parents wanted me to become a doctor. But I wanted to do something bigger and grander, not just make money, but do something. I know doctors save lives, but I saw so much happening in the world around me where I wanted to contribute to make a difference, to bring more justice into the world by raising awareness. And that's why I decided I was going to go into journalism.
Mhm.
So I started as an intern with CNN, worked in multiple US local media outlets, started as a local producer at a local channel, worked my way up to working for BBC World Service in London. And they were their reporter in multiple countries for BBC Urdu service, became anchor of Serbin, the famous program of BBC Urdu service, uh, completed a couple of high profile stories for them, including the death of Yasser Arafat at the time and the London bombing at the time. From there, came to United States, worked as a freelance journalist, joined Voice of America, worked with them in multiple roles: anchor, reporter, bureau chief, international correspondent, and finally the director of South and Central Asia division, including parts of Middle East, and ran newsrooms in 10 countries and in 12 languages. And very proud to say that we had great success. We reached 2.7 billion video views on social media every year, had explosive growth in our viewership, and our brand trust went up in multiple countries. We beat our former colleagues from BBC Urdu service in Pakistan. So, I mean, they're still friends, but we did that. So that's how I am here today with you.
All right, sounds good. So, I'm sure you would have many stories to tell in the events that you covered in the 25 years. That
25 years.
25 years. Share with us your experiences of covering different news events.
Oh my God, I can talk all night about that. There are so many stories. So if anybody wants to reach out and hear stories, I'm always willing to tell them, because I like to describe myself as an eyewitness to history. So I was in Kabul when the Taliban walked in and the American forces left. I held the hands of Afghan women that day as they cried, fearful of their futures. I was there when thousands of Afghans tried to cling to the wings of airplanes in their desperation to flee and when they fell off and died. I was there when the first Black president in America's history, Barack Obama, gave his presidential acceptance speech. I was there when millions of people tried to flee ISIS in Syria, and they took illegal routes to Germany. I walked with them, recorded their stories, threw water bottles to desperate migrants over a fence after they had walked for days without food or water. I watched violence break out during the Black Lives Matter campaign. I have interviewed presidents and terrorists, and all of that, Kashif, has brought me here today to building Tiny Mighty News.
Okay. So, what is Tiny Mighty News? What are you working on now?
Tiny Mighty News. So let me tell you how the idea came to me. 1,000 people died last year in Pakistan after flash floods. It took 2 weeks for national media to pay attention to the story because it happened one distant mountain village at a time.
Okay.
And I realized billions of people in low and middle income countries, they don't have trusted local news. Nobody pays attention to them until a lot of them unfortunately die. And that's when I started thinking, what can I give to these communities to empower them? Because of the advancement in AI and the expansion of smartphones and cell phone networks,
Mhm.
now we can actually help 2 billion of those people. So that's the idea. Tiny Mighty News is an AI powered local news platform that can give all of these people, all of these communities, their own local newsroom to report their news.
All right. Now, like most of it, we have witnessed in the last 2.5 years in Palestine and Gaza. That how locals who were not news anchors, they were reporting. So it's similar, similar model that you are pursuing.
Similar and different. So remember what happened in Gaza. What happened was people started reporting on Facebook and then they faced what was called a shadow ban. Without telling anybody, without giving anybody a notification, people's ratings, people, I know people who were monetizing from Facebook and all of a sudden their ratings dropped off and nobody was getting their message and it wasn't reaching anyone because Facebook was controlling the stream. That's why I am not relying just on social media to build a stream. I'm building my own platform. Social media will be there for marketing, but
Mhm.
it's important to own the platform so that nobody else can cut it off when it really matters. So it's a new platform. It is taking the best elements of social media, which is user generated content. But as we know, there's a lot of fake news, misinformation, disinformation, and AI generated content on social media now. So I'm
Mhm.
taking the user generated content. So anybody, you, me, we can generate a story. I am combining it with the best elements of the best newsrooms in the world. So, verification, editorial oversight, making sure it's not AI generated video, all of that good stuff. And any post that's published goes through all of those checks. So anybody can report from anywhere in the world, but it goes through editorial oversight and it's published. The end feed is also localized. So you get stories from your community. I get stories from my community. Person A gets stories from their community. It's very inclusive, it's multilingual, it's personalized.
All right, that's amazing. That's definitely it's wonderful work to do and give voices to the people who don't have voices. And you mentioned that 2 billion people that it's gonna impact. So which regions are you looking at?
So I'm going to launch in Pakistan later this year. That's my plan. And after a successful launch in Pakistan, hopefully once we reach our 1 million users, then we can go to similar countries. Bangladesh is another. There are lots of countries. So the way I came up with the 2 billion figure is that according to GSMA, which is the entity that globally oversees these, there are 4.7 billion people in the world, in the developing countries, that have cell phones, but 2 billion of them have smartphones. So
Okay.
this app depends on smartphones and cell connections, and that's how I came up with the 2 billion figure. Again, after the successful launch, I would love to scale it quickly into as many countries as possible where these people don't have a voice.
Mhm.
And hopefully, inshallah, we'll get there.
All right. So definitely best wishes for a launch in Pakistan. And right now you're based out of Chicago. So your development team and everybody is working out of the US and implementing systems overseas.
No, my technology team is already working in Pakistan. I have a content team in place that's going to come on board July 1st. So I
Mm.
have teams in place already there and they're developing it. My tech teams work with US companies. My tech team works with US companies, very experienced people, came highly recommended, and I'm very happy with them. So the teams are already in place. Now I'm just in the pre seed round to raise some funding, not just for the launch. The launch is going to happen nonetheless, but to get to our 1 million users, which is when we are completely sustainable and ready to scale.
Okay, all right. And so, where do you foresee Tiny Mighty News in like about 2 years, 2 to 3 years time frame?
I see Tiny Mighty News with at least 10 million users in multiple countries. And I also see it in Middle East and in US and North America and Europe, because the countries I'm targeting have millions of foreign workers or diaspora communities living in North America, Europe, Australia, or working in the Middle East, sending home billions of dollars every year. So we know Pakistan need workers, and diaspora sends 38.3 billion every year. Bangladesh, similar figures. Other countries, lots of other countries with similar figures.
Mhm.
So I'll be going to the home communities, but through them we will connect to people who are living somewhere else, but they want to stay connected to their home community, whether it's their town or their village or their city and their neighborhood in their city. So it's about making connections as well. And
Okay, all right. As you are working in this industry, in the media industry, and on the news side, what inspires you to keep going?
change. So, one small story when there were teachers, again, a story from Pakistan because that's my first target market. So, I'll give more stories about that. There were teachers in a certain province, Balochistan, that had not been paid for 3 months and they were struggling. And after we did a story from my time at BOA, they got paid. Uh, there are so many human rights issues. I'm talking about the small issues, but think about when migrants were fleeing Syria. It was that one picture that a news photographer took of a child, unfortunately, lying dead on a beach that moved the world into doing something. So, if anybody tells me journalism doesn't matter, what happened in Minnesota was a lot of locals reporting every instance of what was happening between ICE and the local protesters. So, if anybody tells me reporting doesn't matter or journalism doesn't matter, I absolutely believe that we help people. And when I go to people, when I report their stories, when I see something getting out of it, that's what drives me.
Okay. And as I know you and have heard some of these stories that you have shared in the past with me, I would let me ask you this: as a girl in this profession, working in the regions that you have worked in the last 25 years, how was that experience for you, and what would you tell future journalists to take away from your experience?
So, what I would tell future male news managers is that when you have a male journalist going into a very conservative region like parts of Pakistan, Afghanistan, other countries, there are spaces that they will never enter. There were spaces that half the population would not talk to them. There were women who would allow me in their homes and share their stories with me because I was a woman. If only male journalists went out there and covered the stories, half the population would be invisible. And this is the part of the population that's already vulnerable. And it's not just women, women with them have children. Children usually hang out with mothers, not necessarily with fathers. So if you only have male journalists, you're missing a huge part of the picture. And for women journalists, I would say that yes, there are certain things you have to do. There are trainings you can take to keep yourself safe. I'm always happy to mentor female journalists, but it is important that you're out there because there are stories only you can tell. There are things only you can feel. One thing I learned, Kashif, in this profession and in this life is, we talk about objectivity and how newsrooms should be objective and give everybody's point of view. I learned it is not possible for a human to be 100% objective. because we're human and we have emotions and we come with biases. So, the most objective newsrooms and the best stories, they have everybody's point of view, are the newsrooms where every sector, every sex, every part of the country, every part of the population is present so that their point of view is reflected. Objectivity comes from diversity.
Okay.
I would not know many things if I didn't ask the people who were suffering through them, because somebody else, no matter how well meaning they are,
Mhm.
just cannot feel it and cannot tell that story.
All right. No, thank you so much for sharing all that. Thank you so much for doing the work that you are doing. It's not like anybody could do it. Yes, anybody could do it, but it requires a lot of courage. And the places that you have been and what you have accomplished in the last 25 years, and then now putting together a new news organization on your own, it requires a lot. And inshallah, we are here to support you and make sure that you are as successful as possible. And thank you again for being part of MCOB, being a member over here, and looking forward to seeing your success in the coming years.
Thank you so much, Kashif. I'm very excited to be part of AMCOB. I'm a new member. It's only been 2 weeks, but I already feel like I'm included and supported and welcomed. So, hats off to you guys for what you're doing.
All right. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.